what's the real value they get of completing that migration and getting their voice into Teams?
Yeah, and the things we talked about, it's not meant to kind of scare people away from doing this, because I think one of these key benefits, especially as we look at this hybrid work, like adding voice to Teams, which you're probably, if you're listening to this, you're already using for collaboration. It really helps enable hybrid work, because now your voice system, whether you're remote or traveling or in the office, from a user experience perspective, the voice system you only learn it once, as opposed to you go into an office and you have a different voice system. So definitely user experience benefits specifically for hybrid work scenarios. But also, some real opportunities for cost savings, right? Because, you're consolidating cost savings from, just the administration overhead goes down because you have a single system and it's consolidated. So definitely there. Simplification, yes, from the user experience perspective, but also from, the IT admin perspective. You have, a single pane of glass. And you may, some organizations, they may, for some reason, decide certain clusters of users may stay on a different system other than Teams. And that's okay, as long as, you get to, it could be 100% migrated. For some organizations, that makes sense, but not for all. Or it could be, you got 90% on Teams voice and maybe 10% or some other, percentage. So, you have a simplification. As long as you have that single view, definitely an increase of productivity, because, users basically work the same way. So, we've seen measurable increase in business outcomes once they know how to use, all the capacity of Teams. It's well integrated, and so they can stay in the flow of work more. And, I think that analytics piece is really important, because I'm a super fan of analytics. And moving to the Microsoft platform, Microsoft has always done a really good job around the analytics. So if you have tools that can kind of pull that out of the Office graph, you get these behavioral and some sentiment analysis analytics, and you can really use that as a compass to say, hey, are we going in the right direction? And also as a ruler to say, okay, is this working? And, in areas where it's not, it really gives the IT admins, the IT pros, the IT leadership, this compass and ruler to be able to figure out and refine, the overall platform. So some great benefits. Pick the right tools to get there, but definitely when you get there, some real world, benefits for sure. Now, Tim, are there some specific customer use cases you want to call out in that regard?
Yeah, let me just finish up on a couple of topics. So as you say, Kevin, organisation moving to cloud Teams, new service, getting benefits out of that. And I think on the projects we've worked on, that get a good migration and get users across there. The feedback's really positive. They really enjoy the out of the office, back in the office, same tool set type experience. But the problem sort of moves a little back into the IT organisation, and again, it can be a simpler, better experience in that environment as well. But they need a tool, the better tool set for that, and that's really where we focus post migration, really trying to get the service management around these networks into business as usual, so you can drive these through your normal business processes and off the service desk. Simple, straightforward, take some cost out. It is around simplification and automation, and that's where we focus. The actual management of Microsoft Teams, once you get into the detail on that, some of you can do that through the Teams admin console or portal, but a good proportion of that sort of runs back into some of the more complex PowerShell scripting and things like that. So what we aim to do and where we work with customers post-migration is around really taking that complexity out and putting that into intuitive workflows that they can then trigger and initiate off the service desk. So it's just a simpler, better administration experience for them. And once they've got through that first step, we then look to work with them so they can delegate that out around the departmental heads and managers around their organisation. So there's a level of self-service there, close to where users and where the need is. And over time, they start to build that into their service catalog, so it becomes part of their business processes. It's simple, quick, straightforward. Simplifies the administration, and at the same time, just helps them run a good service out for their user base. So that's where we focus post migration. It's around that simplification and automation of the service management of the estate as a whole.